Now they're on.
Ooh, so.
Okay. We seem
Hey.
to be on now.
One more time. Today is April, what the heck? Today is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. It is now 4:03. Again, we are in the city chambers and I call the Fire Risk District Governing Body regular meeting to order. Those present are Commissioner Luke, Vice Mayor Yates, myself, Mayor Carasone, Commissioner McDowell, Commissioner Hanks, City Manager Lear, City Attorney Slayton, good to see you again. City Clerk
Welcome back.
Atkins, Deputy City Clerk Pito, and Interim Police Chief Morales. Just a couple of reminders. Anyone with a cell phone on, if it goes off, you are buying Chinese tonight.
Fried rice.
Yes. And so please put it on mute or vibrate or maybe even off.
Go ahead and order it
And
now, so we'll have-
there is no public, or else I'd say how to put public comment cards in, but we'll skip that. So we'll stand for the pledge. And if our ever-present city attorney would start us off.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like I said, I noticed the end God we
I
trust.
just noticed it too. It's pretty cool.
Looks great. Good job, guys.
It does.
In case you didn't see, we had the In God We Trust installed.
Right there. Yeah, that's
Appreciate
nice.
you pointing that out.
Looks nice.
Very nice.
Looks a lot better than I
A
thought
little
it was
crooked,
even
can we
going
straighten it
to.
up? Oh, I'm just kidding, guys.
Okay,
Oh,
so we need an approval of the agenda.
So moved?
Second,
Hold on a second. I have someone that wrote something on here. I'm a little confused. There's notes on this. Don't worry about it, just kidding. Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Luke. Anything to that? Thanks, no? Okay, let's vote.
oh, hold on, I forgot to join.
They,
There we go.
and that's unanimous.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay, that's been, did y'all push your buttons? All right. So that's been moved by Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Hanks. Anything to that?
Just a note, we don't have any public here, so there's no public comment for
Yeah.
section 2.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. I said-
Sorry.
Yep, no, you're right. I did say that. So let's go ahead and vote. And that's unanimous. Commission communications, by the way, the public still has not come. Public communication, or commission communications, anything on road and drainage? No. Administrative or legal reports on road and drainage. On fire district? I got a big no, so we are adjourned. How about that? Let's keep that moving.
that is the record, I believe.
I don't know.
Could have been a little bit faster, but
It could have been. It could have been.
Somebody
you know
had to
what?
reboot their system.
oh, yeah, blame me.
Okay, we're refreshing to join the road and drainage.
Oh, we have to refresh.
Refresh.
Thanks.
Road and drainage.
Oh, I'm refreshing.
You may have to hit leave and then join on road and drainage.
Telling me to leave road and drainage.
Yeah, leave it and then you can join it.
I think I'm on it.
I'm
We're
not
going to road and
anywhere.
drainage next?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, someone's buying Chinese.
Ooh,
Buddy's
chime,
on.
chime.
Meeting wasn't on. Nice try.
oh, loophole.
Everybody say hi to Buddy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
All right. Are we ready? Are you ready? Hanks, are you ready?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm refreshed.
All right. Today is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. It is now 4:08. We're in the city chambers. I call the Road and Drainage District governing body regular meeting to order. Those present at the fire district are still here. Again, we have no public comment, so I won't go into the public comment cards. And we already did our Pledge of Allegiance, so let's go ahead and do the approval of the agenda.
Moved.
Second.
So that has been moved by Commissioner Hanks, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Anything on that?
No buttons.
No buttons. Did you recycle it, refresh it, redo it?
Hanks needs to push first.
I have no
Oh.
button.
He has no button either. So it's been moved by Commissioner Hanks, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Can we vote?
There should have your voting buttons.
Nope. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No, oh, no, forget it.
All right, that's unanimous.
Twice.
Next, moving on to
I'm
the
not sure what I wanna
consent
do here.
agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to pull C.
Pulling C. Oh, shoot. Pulling C. It was close. I thought we were going to get through this. All right. There it is. Anyone else have anything to pull on consent?
I move to approve the consent agenda, A and B. And C.
All right, push your buttons. You have any?
Well, sort of, but.
There we go. I see a button now. All right, so it's been moved by Commissioner Hanks to approve consent agenda items A and B, and then seconded by Commissioner Luke. Let's go ahead and vote. And that's unanimous. On to C, which is utilize Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for professional services for an estimate amount of $137,211 related to the sufficiency analysis methodology. Say that 3 times fast. Yearly assessment role and future projections for the Road and Drainage District. Did you want to hear from City Manager first, or you just want to go straight into it?
I just have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Question
It's up,
away.
I don't know if anybody else wants to hear from city managers.
Nobody else wanted to pull it, so.
All right. So my question is, in the amendment as task 1, it is to meet with the city management to review results, additional hours for planned meetings and city commission. But if you go to the original contract, that's all included with task 3. So I'm trying to understand what is different because it appears to be an overlap of service.
I'll ask Ms. Belina to come up with it, and she can go over the contract in better detail than I could, so.
Thank you.
For the record, Juliana Belia, Public Works Director. Currently, we have $69,000 allocated for services with Stantec for the methodology study. However, we have additional items we need them to take a look at. We need to have them review our current methodology. It's been a few years that we've had that done. Also, of course, the sufficiency analysis, the types of services we do. We've been kind of heading in different directions. We've gotten more into doing drainage work and so forth. Now we have our road bond wrapping up. We're going to be able to have more time to allocate for those services. So we need them to take a look at the various buckets, and we need them to take a look and make sure that those are accurately distributed, or if they need to be redone. Also, future projections for our road and drainage district for assessments to be able to show what they feel in order for the road and drainage district to be able to perform the services, what type of increases each fiscal year would we need to have. So it's all these sorts of things that is within the change order. And that puts us above the $100,000 mark, which by city managers rules and procedures that requires us to come to commission for approval on this change order.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
In the original, I don't know, City Manager, if you've been able to take a look at it, but in the original, if you go to task 3, in the original contract for the $69,000, task 3 is to meet with the city manager, prepare presentation for commission workshops, review with staff, present to commission for workshop, make adjustments based on commission workshop, present final report to commission, that's in task 4. But if you go over to the amendment, the very first task, meet with city manager to review results, additional hours for planned meetings, and additional meetings with city commission.
While you're thinking about that or trying to find that, can I ask you, this is a completely different scope of work
Yes, ma'am.
than what the original agreement was.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
So-
It's going through and basically doing the work, updating all of their previous work according to our new, according to what our current operations has evolved into. So when they did this original study, you're correct. They would have had, and maybe that will help answer the question, they would have had attendance at the meetings. Now we have in the amendment, the change order, a new task number with attendance at the meetings.
Okay. The contract that I'm looking for the $69,000, that looks like it was just done in early March of this year to redo the methodology study, to
Okay.
redo the methodology. Now, this amendment, here it is April, they're asking for additional work because in the methodology, in the original contract, it says some of them are going to be at an hourly rate. I get that. I'm not
Okay.
questioning that. I'm questioning task 3 on the original, comparing it to task 1 on the amended. They look identical.
They are identical, right? Yeah. But I thought that it was a different scope of work,
No.
therefore it would require more consulting.
We haven't had the first set of meetings with them and workshops. So why?
Gotcha. Fair
We
question.
are actually going to meet with them tomorrow. I'm going to have to check into that further. I don't have an answer for that. I've got to check with them further. And
Okay.
if we have to take it out, we will take it out. It's a duplicate, but I'll be glad to do that.
The mailing, does that include the cost of postage?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. If you don't mind, Monica has an answer for that question.
Just
Commissioner.
on the amendment, for the first agreement, we were just getting into it preliminary, knowing timeframes for getting budget information. So we had preliminary numbers there. After that, we knew that there would need to be more hours put aside for meeting with commission. So on the amendment, I think if you look at the hours there, meeting with commission specifically, I mean, at the first one, it says meeting with management, of course, you know.
No, it
up
says
through
commission on the
finance.
first one also, ma'am.
Yeah, but the hours, I believe,
There's
if we,
Row
for
three.
the, it's right there.
The hours have gone from 3 to 18.
Yeah, so hours there, if you look.
The hours increased.
If you look,
If you flip over the page, there's more hours on the back. And task 3.4 and 3.5.
okay, so on task 3 here.
There's 3.4.
Yeah, there's hours there, commission, but then there's total here, and then where's the amendment? The amendment, see, there's 18 additional meetings. So, I mean, that's a different task there, but as we just, I mean, we knew we
The hour,
need
the
to.
meeting times, we can certainly do, and like I said, those are based on the number of actual hours of meetings. And we can look into that. But in answer to your first question, I believe the postage is included in the mailing, which obviously makes up the majority of the change order, 47,000 of the 67 is related to the mailings. The others are as needed.
Is your microphone on there, buddy?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe I'm just not looking at it. So I can try again. I certainly understand your question about the number of hours, and it would be actual hours is what we would pay for, so we will track that. We don't pay for the hours we don't get where they're sitting at meetings. But like I said, the majority, $67,000 is the change, and 47,000 of that is related to the mailing, and it's 65 cents per parcel, which I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, does include postage.
Yes,
It does?
Yes.
Yes, it includes
It has in the
postage.
past, so
yes,
yes.
it includes postage.
Okay, because it's not in there, and I just wanted to make sure that that is crystal clear, that it is included in postage. The postage is included, because it's not spelled out in here. It says to prepare draft of first-class mail notice and work with the mail contractor. So I just wanted to make sure.
What I will do is tomorrow when we meet with them, I'll get it clarified. But in the past, they have included postage in it, but I will get that clarified.
How far along are we on this? Is this something maybe we could bring back at another meeting once we have all the answers? I don't feel comfortable approving this with so many outstanding questions.
Yeah, I think because of this amendment relates to the postage of the mailings, which is, when are you guys doing the mailing? It's not, it's a while from now.
It's a while.
And the hours that are related in the meetings are related to the budget meetings, which are in June. So yes, we could bring this back. What I'd probably do is we'll get the answers this week, and on the 5/8 regular commission meeting, add a district meeting at the beginning of it, so that we can approve this then.
Sounds good. I just have one more question, since methodology is something I was kind of passionate about last year during budget cycle, because I saw some areas that I think we can improve in getting more resources reimbursed from the citizens. Is there going to be an opportunity for commission input, or how would I get those ideas conveyed?
Two
Or
ways.
if anybody else has any ideas too on it.
One, yes, if you all have ideas about the methodology on the front end that you already know you want addressed, sending those to me would be very helpful on the front end. And this will be presented in front of commission to be accepted or modified.
But it makes no sense
and-
to send them back to the drawing board based
That's
on
what
an
I say.
idea.
Yeah, if you can send them to me now and we can look at them, make sure that there's something that, whether or not we had already planned to include those or not,
Sounds good.
go from there.
Nobody else has any questions? I'll make a motion.
I have questions.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you
Didn't
for
see
pulling
that.
it, because I was going to
Commissioner
pull it
Yates.
as well. So the original contract, that's $69,000, was not having anything to do with an adjustment to the methodology or annual adjustment to that, was only to do the assessment role.
No, I believe the
original
original one is to
69.
redo the methodology.
Redo it.
This relates, like I said, mostly because we're redoing the methodology and ultimately the assessment roles will change. Mailings have to go out. So that's why I said the majority of this adjustment is for the mailings that were not included in the original $69,000. So we are redoing the methodology. The assessment roles are related to the rates that we charge each property. And I know that you're very familiar with this. This is more for everybody else who may not be. Methodology is how we charge people. The roles are the rates that we actually charge them.
So who is doing the annual assessment role for the city? Because the city pays an entity to do that instead of staff doing that.
Correct. This would be the same group. They will.
Same group.
So is that a separate contract from the 69,000?
That would
No,
be
that's,
included in your
we have
69.
that included, and then we've added, we wanted them to take a look at the methodology, the sufficiency review. We've added all those items to what they normally do with the role.
That's
Right,
why I was
that's what
trying to
the 16
explain that it's a
Yes.
different scope of work.
Yes, ma'am.
That's-
Different scope
With
of
the
work.
69,000, that's there. This 67,000 incorporates the process for implementation.
Yes, ma'am. That's
of
correct.
finalizing that.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
guess I just am not clear as to why that was not included if we know we have this methodology that we're knowing that we're going to do. How could that have been left out of the original one when that's part of the process? So I'm not clear why this is.
Quite clear on the question
If you're doing
itself.
a methodology,
I think,
if you're doing a methodology, typically when you do that, there has to be public hearings, you have to
Right.
go through that process. So if we incorporated all of those things that were just mentioned, into a contract to add things to their regular assessment, annual assessment roll work that they do, and we came up with that $69,000. What I'm saying is, why was this part of it left out? Because the mailings and all of that is part of that methodology process.
But as I understand it, wasn't it that they were going to combine the methodology that exists, and then that
Yes.
was going to be used for the tax rolls?
At-
And then,
Correct. At that point.
after the fact, we
right,
said, listen, we need to update the methodology.
Right.
And-
Right, yes, ma'am. What had
Okay.
happened is, we have to monitor our operations, and we have to review the methodology every so many years. But when it gets to the point like where we're at now, we have to have the consultant help us determine, okay, now, since we've switched gears here, road bond project is finishing, and we are delving more into the drainage part of our work, do we not need to take a look at how we are assessing the residents? And that is why we decided we needed to do that this fiscal year. We couldn't wait any longer.
So the 69,000 did not include then looking at and updating the
Correct.
methodology.
Yes,
I thought
ma'am, it did not.
You had said that the $69,000
money.
did include that.
Methodology.
Why don't we pull this and just let them get this ironed out?
I'm just trying to sort it out, because we have that annual fee that we pay a company to plug in the numbers for us and do the
thought that's
assessment.
what they did.
And then the 69,000 was adding some additional scope to that.
We'll get you answers for that before the next
Yeah.
meeting.
I'll have to
Okay.
check that.
Okay, so, no action allows it to come back, right? Or do we have to do a, motion to table until May 8th? City Attorney.
I just heard the latter part of the question. Do you have to do a motion to table
You're
or?
so funny. Okay, so can we just not take action and then bring it back up on May 8th? Or do we have to actually table it for May 8th?
I think that just kind of falls under your General Roberts Rules of Order, so I would defer to the city clerk as the parliamentarian for the proceeding.
What do you think there,
I'm
Patsy?
sorry, what was the question?
Okay, so, let's go ahead and get, I'm just trying to figure out if we need a motion to table it.
We could have had the motion.
Yeah, we could have had a motion to
so
table it by
We might as well
now,
just make
so.
a motion.
Yeah, I would just move it to another meeting.
Yeah, so
Or at a
table it
future
for
date.
May 8th. Okay,
With bringing back all of the information.
correct,
If you're
yeah.
gonna do it for time certain, you can just move it to that item. You wouldn't even need to table it. You can just move the agenda item to the,
I'll make a motion.
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion to move the Santec Consulting Services contract to a meeting in May at the discretion of the city manager with all of the questions and information brought forth at that time.
And it can be a special meeting, correct?
I said at his discretion.
All right, second.
Everybody hit their buttons, right?
Yep.
All right. It's been moved by Commissioner McDowell to bring back the Stantec Services Agreement to a May meeting at the discretion of the city manager, seconded by Commissioner Luke. Anything to that?
Along with all of the information
Along with all
requested.
the information requested. Anything else? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. And that is 4-1 with Commissioner Hanks descending. Did you want,
Reason stated.
yeah, for reasons stated. Okay.
Just don't-
There's-
don't state it.
Yeah, there's still no public comment.
I just don't think it's necessary. I mean, I think they said they would do all that stuff, so it was necessary to table it.
Thank you. There's still no public comment, and assuming there's no commission communication on road and drainage, anyone? No? Okay. Administrative legal reports here? No? Okay. We are adjourned. Moving on. go out, go back in, got a 2-year-old reboot, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it just popped up.
And now we're in solid waste, right?
Correct.
Commissioner Haynes, have you joined solid waste?
I'm about to join solid waste right now.
Mine just carries over for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing that does it that way, but
You have to join?
no, I didn't. It slows me through on this thing. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so it is now 4:29. We are in the solid waste, it's Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. It's 4:29. We're in the city chambers. I call the solid waste district governing body regular meeting to order. Those who were present in the previous meetings are still here. We've already done the pledge. And commission, if you'd like to approve the agenda, that would be the time.
So moved.
That's been moved by Commissioner, or Vice Mayor Yates, seconded by,
No, I
I don't
hit
have
the
a
button. I'll withdraw my motion. Go ahead. No, second.
I don't have a button.
did you refurbish?
I got mine.
Did you back out?
I'll
Or
do it again, and it
refurbish?
disappeared.
No, yeah, there you go. All right, so it's been moved by Commissioner, or Vice Mayor Yates, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. And that's unanimous. There is no public comment. Consent agenda, anyone?
Move to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Everybody push their buttons, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Luke to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Go ahead and vote. That's unanimous. There is no public comment. Commission communications on solid waste, folks. Seeing none. Administrative legal reports. Seeing none, we are adjourned. See you at 6.
Jonathan.
Was a 1-minute meeting.
Nice. Nicely done. 1-minute meetings.
For solid waste.
Can we do that again?